It's September 21st, 2021, and you are listening to the Take the Over podcast presented by Live Casino Pittsburgh. Let's go. All right. Welcome, everybody. Welcome to the Take the Over podcast. I'm your host, Derek, and joining me is, as always, our faithful co-host, Drew Hirchko. Drew, how you doing?
I'm doing well. First question, are we recording?
We are recording.
This
is not only are we live, we're recording, and
yes,
we're
live. That's right.
Yeah, we're live for the first time ever. We are live recording this podcast, and I believe we're getting some shares from the casino. So if you're watching this on the casino's feed, welcome in to the show live. We wanted to do this one live because we are picking on Tuesdays. For this week anyway, we're picking on Tuesday. So on a Tuesday, the lines are going to change pretty significantly. So we want to make sure you get the best opportunity to get those lines in as quickly as you can. So that way you get the best lines that you physically can. And because I know the lines changed a ton last week whenever we were done recording. So what do you think?
Best lines you physically can and best lines you metaphorically can. The best lines that exist.
They're the best.
If last week was any indication, we should pick on Tuesday every week.
Yes, because speaking of last week, we always start off with a little week in review, and Drew and I had a pretty good week. You could say that, I would think.
Yeah, I think we picked some good games.
I think we picked some good games. I will say for the first time ever in the podcast history ever, we finished 0-2 on our Bet The Haus picks. It's never happened before.
Dang it, Los Angeles.
That's never happened before. But we did finish, I think, those are the only two games we lost last week.
Yeah, those are the only two.
So
yep.
If you bet with us last week, you were actually in a good spot, made some money, and
W.
paying off some student loans.
That's 7.
That's
7 W's.
Yeah, so let's take a look at some of the games that we took last week here. We got some games written down here that we took last week. Let's see here.
You got to start off with Bills minus 3.5.
Yeah, I was very adamant about that, wasn't I?
Yeah, good bounce back game. They won by a few. They covered 3.5 easily.
They ended up winning by 35. So
35.
You could say they slightly covered the 3.5 there. So yeah, Bills. I said it was a get right game for the Bills, and sure enough, it was
early and often.
Tua got injured, so he might be out this week. That's going to be something to look at.
Yes.
But for the most part, Bills minus 3.5. We took that, and then our next game was San Fran minus 3.5. We hammered that. They beat the Eagles, who I don't know. I'm still not sure if the Eagles are for real or not. I'm really not sure.
I'm not sure. I got on a whole other train of thought right there because you mentioned Eagles. I thought about Jalen Hurts in a familiar building, and I thought about how close we were to Nathan Peterman playing at Heinz Field after David Carr was injured for a second.
You know what? I didn't get to watch that game. I didn't
Derek
know
Carr.
Derek Carr. David Carr is his brother. David Carr is out of the league. He was in the league and then quickly back out of the league.
I wished it was David Carr so that he would be injured so that Nate Peterman could play. He had the helmet on. I mean, you got to be thinking Nate Peterman at Heinz Field.
Yeah.
He couldn't be feeling better than that.
No one loves Nate Peterman more than John Gruden.
No, I agree with you.
Nobody.
No,
I'm pretty sure John Gruden, Nate Peterman's mom doesn't love him more than John Gruden. So we got San Francisco minus 3.5. Drew with a quick flip of the switch there. He was gonna take Detroit plus 11.5, and then right when he was like, I was writing it in. I was like, all right, so Detroit plus 11.5. He was like, nope, taking Green Bay minus 11.5,
yep.
And you did.
Hop on the Aaron Rodgers seesaw, everybody. So we're gonna go from 1 week to the next. Who knows what Aaron Rodgers we're gonna find? And I think it makes for great television.
I mean, Aaron Rodgers looks like he's been stuck on a boat. He looks like Andy from The Office when he comes back from
I think he's just somebody. I don't know. He's somebody that I don't know. I don't know him. I think
crazy.
Just looking at him though, I think he looks very interesting.
Yeah.
I think the stories from his family life and all of that make him a very interesting human.
Yes.
His abilities on the football field make him a very interesting human.
Second to none.
I enjoy watching from afar.
I mean, coming off an MVP season, you gotta look at it and be like, wow. I mean, this guy is up and down. I mean, that last night 4 TDs to his running back. The week before that, 3 interceptions or 2 interceptions. It's gonna be a lot of this and a lot of that, I think, from Aaron Rodgers this year. We had the Texans plus 12.5 this week. Yep. Really like that line. I think anytime you're giving double digits, unless you are playing the Jets, you should probably go with the points there. So take the points. Plus 12.5 it ended up being. We also hit the Browns over 48.5. And at one point the Browns were losing. So Drew, your hot take almost hit, huh?
And I did have a few dollars on Texans money line. I put my money where my mouth was, and I took a few dollars on the Texans money line. And man, was I excited whenever it was 21-14.
I mean, that was you had to, I mean, Drew's probably
14-7, I think it was.
Yeah,
they were
it
up
was.
a little bit.
Yeah, it was. They were up for a little bit there.
Tyrod, I hope Tyrod gets better. He just can't catch a break at starting quarterback.
I know, right? So that's going to make this game interesting on Thursday night because there's no way he's out for a couple weeks, so there's no way he's going to be playing on that game. There, we also had Seattle Titans over 53.5. That one hit actually pretty early.
Yep.
Then it went into overtime, and then the Seattle Seahawks pulled a Browns, and they ended up losing that game. So we'll see if they can bounce back this week. Drew also went against the hometown team there and took the Raiders at plus 5.5, and to your detriment and also your benefit of your bank account, you did that because
I don't bet on or against the home team because that's a guaranteed loss. If you bet on or against the home team, you just can't win. It's like not that you can't win, like from the sense that like we talked the other week about cheering for or against your home team,
right?
But I literally feel like every time I bet on a home team or a team that I like,
it's rough.
If I bet against them, the team wins. I'm like, all right, they won, but then like I lost my bet. And then if I bet on them, they lose, and I lose my bet.
You gotta bet with your bank account, not your heart. I mean, that's the biggest thing.
Should have taken Raiders minus 5.5.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Wow. That line would have been spicy.
Yeah.
That would have been a hot take line.
Would have been nice.
We did lose, like we said, we did lose our two Bet the House picks, which has never happened in the history of this podcast ever. So we can't happen 2 weeks in a row, right? So we had the
You
Chiefs.
did lose yours 2 weeks in a row.
I did.
Hey.
Shouldn't.
I didn't.
Right.
I didn't
know
mean
we're gonna
to.
be throwing stones here.
I didn't want. I was going to say it before they said it.
That's true. That's true. If you're in the comment section right now, we appreciate you. Also, Drew's going to be maybe monitoring the Facebook comments a little bit. I'll lag everything up. Yeah, if you don't mind. If you guys have any comments on some of the picks that we're taking or some of your favorite lines for the week, feel free to go ahead and put those in the chat. We will try to get to every single one that comes
check
through
them periodically.
We'll check through them as often as we can, without screwing up the show or our feed. So we had Chiefs minus 3.5. Obviously, that one didn't hit, and we had the LA Rams. I think they were also minus 3.5 or minus 4. Either way,
yeah.
That one didn't hit either. So that's where we're at. I mean, we're 12 minutes into the show, and we are we're 7-2 on the old docket there. So if you went with us last week, congratulations on making some money and making the casino a little bit smaller. We appreciate that, and we're gonna try to do the same thing this week. Might as well, right?
Yeah, 2 weeks in a row, pretty good.
Yeah, actually, last week was good too. We're what 9-4-1,
9-5-1,
9-5-1,
9-6-1 one after you forgot to hit record. And then
that's why we're doing it live this week.
Yep.
I can't screw this up. I can't. It's just harder.
9-6-1, 9-5-1. So 9-5-1 backed up by 7-2. Yeah, that's a good way to start.
Perfect. Yeah, I know it's a great way to start. And again, these first couple weeks are always iffy because you don't know what teams are yet. You're trying to figure them out. You know what I mean?
We're up. We know
that's
everything.
True. No, that's true.
We know these first few weeks are easy.
It's hard.
These are the easiest.
It's hard for everybody else.
These are the easiest.
But
weeks
we
for
are
us, 'cause,
apparently very good at it.
these are the easy weeks. So whenever
start
it gets into the
Yeah.
season, that's whenever it gets no good.
For sure. So we are back, man. We are back, and speaking of being back, we're going to look ahead here to this week. Some bets that we like, and some bets that we want to give you now, so that you can hop on them early. But before we do that, how about a quick ad read from our partners here at Live Casino? If you don't know that we've been doing this podcast with Live Casino, they've been amazing partners. They've been awesome to work with, and super supportive. And thank you guys for listening. If you're listening on their feed right now, we definitely appreciate it. And speaking of Live Casino, Drew, football season is back, and the best place to cheer on your favorite team is at Live Casino. All right, so watch all the college and pro action on their 2-story media wall, which is as big as advertised. I'm telling you, that thing is massive. Drew and I are headed to the casino on Thursday to talk to the fine folks down there. We are also going to try to play Xbox on that multi-story media wall. So if you see something happen there, that's us. And also, while you're watching the game on that massive media wall, you can go ahead and place all your bets right there at the FanDuel Sportsbook. Plus, you can win big every time the Steelers score a touchdown with touchdown to victory. Steelers are playing the Bengals this week, which means one thing, they're going to be scoring a lot of touchdowns, which means that you can win a lot of money. So visit pittsburgh.livecasinohotel.com /promotions. Again, that is pittsburgh.livecasinohotel.com/promotions.
Say that slower.
All right, pittsburgh.livecasinohotel.com/promotions. For complete rules and details, watch, wager, and win at Live Casino. For rules and details, please visit that website. Watch, wager, and win live at Live Casino, Route 30 at the Westmoreland Mall. It's game time. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. We do not take that lightly, so please, if you know somebody that has a problem, use that number right there below you here. Drew's hammering on his computer right now, so he is
checking the website, just checking the promotions. What was that promotion?
It was pittsburgh.livecasino.
What was the actual promotion?
You win every time the Steelers score a touchdown. It's called touchdown to victory. Every time the Steelers score a touchdown, you have a chance to win some money as well. So I don't know how you say no. This is a Big Ben get right week, I think.
Yeah.
Mike Tomlin doesn't typically lose a cut like 2 games in a row. So
do you know what I was most disappointed about on Sunday?
Your golf game.
Why? No.
All right. What were you most disappointed about Sunday?
I was disappointed that we didn't get to add a line to the song.
Wow. Yeah. For those who don't know, every time the Steelers win this year, we are adding a line to the song all the way to the Super Bowl if they make it that far. If they don't, we have one line.
My promise to you is this: even if they are 4-13,
yes,
we will have 4 lines.
4 lines to that song. 4 lines to that song.
Pittsburgh's going to the Super Bowl.
They got Najee, the black and the gold.
That's our first line.
We'll add to it, hopefully. So we're gonna take a look ahead. We don't talk a lot of college football on this podcast, simply because
we don't talk a lot of it.
We don't talk a lot, but we do take a lot of college football bets, and you can find all of that action on our foot blog, named by Drew Hirschko. Our foot blog, college foot blog. It's at taketheoverpod.com. But I know we don't talk about it a lot, but there are 2 games that I want to give you guys right now if you want to hop on those early bets, because I feel like these lines are definitely going to move a little bit. They're already moving a little bit, but Louisville -1.5 at Florida State. If you do like that game right there, if you're interested in that game, it's Louisville's first road game, and it's the first conference game of the season for them. But so far, they have beaten some really good teams. They beat UCF as underdogs and lost to Ole Miss, who's actually having a great season right now, so you can't really blame them for losing to that game. But on paper, this looks like a pretty close matchup as far as stats go, as far as like offense-defensive matchup. However, I think 1.5 points is not enough. Florida State is 0-3. I think they're getting bets off their reputation right now. They've also lost to Jacksonville State, which Jacksonville is not even a state, so I don't even know how that works. And they got thumped by Wake Forest last week. They also lost narrowly to Notre Dame, but this is kind of before we knew who Notre Dame was, and we now know that Notre Dame is not good this season, right? So take that one right there.
Western Michigan's good.
Well, only when they play Pitt, apparently. And then the other one is Michigan State -4.5 versus Nebraska. This game actually at the beginning of the season opened at Nebraska -5. So this line has moved a whole bunch here. So if you like that, they dominated Northwestern and Miami as an underdog. Michigan State is making a living right now off that transfer portal. They got a running back from Wake Forest, who I think is going to be he's good. I mean, he's obviously been good. They're known to have good running backs. I don't know if you know. There's a guy named Lev Bell that came out of there. So those are the 2. If you want to hop on them, that Michigan State line is definitely going to move. So if you like that, take that now -4.5 and take some free money. That's what I got
for college football. Billy Johnson said we are
Penn State.
You fell right into it.
Well, Penn State
fell right into it.
They covered last week, so still a fan.
Fell right into it.
So now we're going to go ahead and take a look ahead at the NFL week in advance here. Again, that starts on Thursday. We got some great Thursday action. I think this is actually going to be a pretty good game here. This Thursday game is the Carolina Panthers versus the Tyrod Taylorless Houston Texans. Last time I looked, that spread was -7.5. Now that Tyrod Taylor is definitely out, I don't see that spread getting any smaller there. So if you like that one, please take it now at 7.5.
Is that what it opened as? Well,
yeah, I think that's where it opened. So it hasn't moved yet. All right. What do you think on that? What are your
do we know Houston's quarterback depth chart?
It's David Mills is going to be their starter.
Davis Mills
is going to be their starter because even though Tyrod's out, they are still saying as of right now, Watson is inactive. He's not going to play. He's not playing for them all season. So unless they trade him, he's not playing an NFL snap this season.
1 hour ago, Taylor's on the IR, and the Texans will start Mills at QB versus the Panthers.
So there you go. This is going to be Davis Mills' first NFL start. I don't know. I mean, here's the thing. Tyrod Taylor syndrome could be in full effect, though. You know what I mean? If every time Tyrod Taylor leaves the stadium, the next great quarterback comes out of it. Baker Mayfield in Cleveland, Josh Allen in Buffalo, Justin Herbert in Los Angeles. So this could be a great start for Davis Mills and another terrible thing to happen to Tyrod Taylor, who seems like a good team player. I mean, the guy seems like he loves the game. He's got a winning record as a starting quarterback. So
as he got injured midway through an NFL game and his team still covered. So
that's true. They did.
So he can play ball, and he's very good at playing ball, as a matter of fact. And I hope he gets well soon. Davis Mills, bonus points. What college did he go to?
Davis Mills, bonus points, went to Baylor?
Stanford.
God.
Not even close.
Not even close.
But I just looking up some more info about Davis. He's 22, drafted third round by the Texans this year.
Yep.
So I don't know. We don't know a whole lot about him. I'm an Oregon fan. I know that Oregon's had lukewarm success against Stanford. So
I mean, I'm not saying he doesn't have an arm. I mean, he's definitely got the arm to do it. But if you're taking this game right now, 7.5 points on a Thursday night,
I'm taking the Panthers.
Taking the Panthers minus 7.5. Yeah, I think Panthers minus 7.5 is your bet there. If you're trying to look for one, I will say that the Panthers are first in every single defensive category this year. Please look it up. They are first in every single defensive category this year. They're first in total yards against, or preventing total yards against. So smallest. Okay. Yep. Passing yards given up. Rush yards, they're only averaging 46.5 yards a game rushing on the ground. Points, they're giving up 10.5 points average on the first 2 games this season, and third down percentage. So I just think this is just a bad week for Tyrod Taylor to be out, because I think if Tyrod Taylor's is in there, the line's like 4.5. You know what I mean? Maybe 5.5. I don't think it gets all the way to 7.5. So and Sam Darnold hasn't looked bad as the quarterback. The Adam Gase effect there. You leave the system and things start to get better for you. So I'm also with you there, Drew. I think 7.5. Carolina, take Carolina 7.5.
Yeah.
And don't look back. Also, if you want a fun prop bet for that, right now on FanDuel, on the FanDuel Sportsbook app, you can get Christian McCaffrey over 5.5 catches at plus money, plus 102.
I was going to add Christian McCaffrey over rushing and receiving hit again last week.
Yeah. Yep. They raised it this week, though.
Yeah, that they can keep doing it.
I'm still going all the way to the top.
Yeah, it's not going to be high enough.
Yeah,
Christian McCaffrey is that good.
Christian McCaffrey is that good.
I will say I am a little gun shy on overs on individual players, because the one time I bet basketball, professional basketball, I could trace it back and find the date, because I bet like LeBron James over 31.5 points. And he was at, I don't know how many, but that was the game that he blew out his groin. He was out for like 9 weeks. So there could be an injury that affects that bet.
That's true.
However, I think that I don't know. I think
Chris
McCaffrey is going to get over rushing plus receiving for this. Yeah. I think it was 117.5 last week, something really low.
Right.
And
it's early. They're still trying to figure him out.
Yeah.
Again, I think if 5.5 catches at plus money 102 right now, you can get that at. To be honest with you, Sam Darnold has loved him coming out of the backfield. So if you're looking for kind of a safe bet right up front here, again, I think that line will move. I don't think it'll go up to 6.5 catches, but the first week he caught 10 balls out of the backfield for Sam, and last week he caught 5 balls out of the backfield for Sam. But the biggest thing was they were up big last week, so they didn't have to throw it to him. They were just running him. So and also their backup was they're trying to take his workload down a little bit from what they've said, because they're like, hey, we paid you all this money, like we kind of want you around for the next couple of years, like you were on our books regardless of what happens. So please just take a look at that. There's your 2 safe bets there. It's Carolina minus 7.5 and Christian McCaffrey over 5.5. I think that hits.
And then over rushing and receiving for Christian.
And over rushing and receiving. If you parlay over 5, because if he's getting over 5.5 catches, he's probably hitting over his rushing and receiving yards. So if you can't
parlay those both. You can't parlay both player props. That's the type of stuff we need to talk to Live Casino about.
Huh. Well, it's like they hate giving away money. It's like don't invite them to your birthday party. Apparently, so that's Thursday night action on the NFL Network. And Drew, do you have any games that stick out to you on the calendar there in front of you?
On the let's see. Well, I told you whenever I got here today. I said hold on, I got to go get my picks. You're like, oh, you have picks? I said no. So I think with our success, I don't know, does it make sense to start doing picks?
Doesn't, honestly.
So
ride the hot hand.
If we're what's our record now? 16-7-1.
Yeah.
So 16-7-1 over 2 weeks.
Up a couple units.
I'll just keep looking at. I'll keep looking at the Los Angeles Chargers plus 6.5 at the Kansas City Chiefs.
That's a lot, huh?
That's a lot for the Chargers.
I mean, the thing about the Chiefs is
I'm not taking anything in that. I'm not taking that.
You don't want it at all?
No.
I will say the thing about the Chiefs is they don't cover very often. They really don't. They play. I'm not saying they play down to their opponent because they win all the time, but they find ways to win games when they have to. Like you can see them turn it on. They're like, oh, now we're down 14. We should probably figure this out and go. So it's plus 6.5. If I'm taking anything in that game, I'm saying Chargers plus 6.5.
Chargers plus 6.5. That's what I would take as well.
Right.
I'll tell you what other game I see on here. That
my confidence is low on that, though.
I think I haven't chose my Bet The Haus pick for this week, but I think
we'll save it to the end. Save it to the end. We got to keep them around.
Fine. Fine.
But it is a 1:00 game.
Fine. It is, yeah.
All right.
So the let's see other lines that pop out to me.
Yep.
The Falcons at the Giants.
Yeah.
The over/under is 48.5 in that game.
Okay. 48.
Who's scoring that many points?
Yeah, right.
In that game.
Yeah, we don't take unders though.
That I wasn't. I wouldn't even. I would not even utter the word.
How do you feel about that game just in general?
How about no. How about this one?
All right.
4:00. Raiders minus 3.5 at home versus the Dolphins.
So this is a tough one. This is a tough one for me, and I'll tell you why. Because Tua is injured. He's got a rib injury, so he might not play. If Tua doesn't play, I think Miami wins. He sucks. He's so bad. People want to anoint him like the next guy. He hasn't won anything yet, and he's a little proficient with the ball. Like he doesn't turn it over a ton, but it's hard to win games when your quarterback's putting up 130 yards, a game. So if Jacoby Brissett starts this game, and wins this, they will win this game. If I'm telling you, if Tua starts this game, the Raiders would probably be my Bet The Haus pick. That's how confident I am that Tua sucks.
I'm not. Wow, those are strong words. I don't know if I should stand for them or not.
This is my opinion.
I don't think
Tua's not good. Well, he's not good.
Sucks.
I mean, he's not good.
Jacoby Brissett 24-40 for 169 yards. You complete 24 passes for 170 yards. If you're averaging like 6 yards a pass.
Who were they playing last week? The Bills.
Yeah, they
right. So he had to throw a lot because they were down already,
and they scored
0 points.
0 points.
Yeah, but Will Fuller was also out last week, and with a personal injury or personal reasons, and he's coming back this week. So if you get Will Fuller back, you get a quarterback that's a little bit more competent. I think they have a chance. I think this is an upset alert. This is a trap game. This has trap game written all over it. Unless you're a fan of one of these two teams, please just avoid it.
I mean, Raiders getting the 3-0 after they handled the Steelers last week.
Yeah, but the Raiders,
they didn't just beat the Steelers; they handled the Steelers.
Yeah, but the Raiders always lose bad games. The Steelers always lose bad games.
And Derek Carr continuing a great impression of a professional quarterback.
You got in last week at 3,500 odds to get Derek Carr at leading the league in passing this year. He's up by 200 yards right now, so that's like a full game.
And they were plus 300 to make the playoffs.
Yeah, and it's looking like there's a real shot at that happening. So, so for me,
are you taking the Dolphins?
No,
I'm taking the Raiders minus
okay.
3.5.
All right, Raiders minus 3.5.
Yes.
I think that's the way to go. I mean, honestly, until they prove otherwise that they're going to lose games, Derek Carr seems to be in a zone right now. They have weapons. They got guys. Jacobs is out. I understand that, but they have the wide receivers. Never been an issue for them. Never been an issue for them the last couple of years. So I think you take him until they prove you wrong. Henry Ruggs has hit his last two player props for me. So anytime you get him over like 5.5 catches or 4.5 catches, last week I think it was 3.5 catches.
Yep.
If you can get Henry Ruggs at 3.5 catches, he went off last week for like 9 catches for 117 yards or something like that. So
a lot of those late too.
Yeah. If you can get Henry Ruggs, that's the guy he's looking for. Also, Darren Waller smaller. So they have talent. There's no doubt about that. But they're the Raiders, and until the Raiders stop being the Raiders, I'm just a little hesitant.
But
on them.
they're the Las Vegas Raiders.
Well, does that matter?
It obviously does.
They're 2-0, so apparently it must. You know what I mean? Like apparently it must. So Drew's taking the Raiders at -3.5. Again, the podcast has had pretty good success at picking games so far. So if he's feeling it, go with the vibes here. Go with the vibes. I'm telling you right now, one of the games that I really like this week, only because I've watched him play the last two times, and this is actually a special game, guys. The Giants and Falcons. It's the first NFL game to ever take place on Comedy Central, because both these teams are a joke. All right, the Giants look a little bit less like a joke than the Falcons. The Falcons, again, they got Tom Brady, where they couldn't they couldn't hold together. They couldn't hold it together against the Bucs, and then they were winning that game for a while. Needless to say, covering. Right. They were winning that game for a while, and they ended up losing that game. So I'm all in on the Giants -3.
You can take whatever you want. I'm not touching that game.
I'm all in on the Giants -3, and here's why. I think that I got to find my notes here, but here's why. It's a tough decision. I understand that, but the Giants, Saquon's back. Daniel Jones has proven the last couple weeks on Thursday night that he's not afraid to run the ball. He will get out. Player prop bet, whatever. Daniel Jones, it was like over 20 and a half yards last Thursday night, and he got that on the first drive. So, they have talent. They have a decent defense. Their defense actually looked really good, and their front four on offense shut down Washington for most of the night. Washington should have lost that game.
Yeah.
Washington should have lost that game. But
front four did not look that good.
They did not. And we're fading Washington until they prove that their front four is going to be all right. So I just think that the Raiders have the Falcons have looked bad both games they played. They have not played anybody really that great so far. They played the Bucs, so that's not true. But they have not looked good. So I'm all in on Giants -3. So Giants -3 for me there.
I like that. Even though I'm not taking anything in that game, I think that's
the way to go.
I understand your pick.
Yeah,
I understand and appreciate where you're coming from.
And that 48.5 looks like a lot of points.
Yeah, it does.
That's a lot of
which
points.
I think that could be a trap. I think they could put up 80 in that game.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, because you just don't know what you're getting with that game.
I think that's going to be really good.
That's going to be
another game that jumped out to me was the Bills -8.5 at home versus the Washington football team.
Yeah. That's a lot of points.
The front four that good? Can they get to Josh Allen? If they get to Josh Allen, could they take him down?
Well, we've seen what happens when Josh Allen plays a good front four. Mm-hmm. What happens? The Pittsburgh Steelers beat him. You know what I mean? It's like if they have a TJ Watt, which Chase Young could be the guy right behind TJ Watt as far as skill goes in that position. I mean, that's a tough one.
Well, I don't know if you can just take that like cookie cutter and put it to the Bills offensive line.
Right.
I think it makes sense, but I think at the same time that's the first game of the season. That's coming off of a playoff run. That's a chip on the shoulder type of thing. Well, now they had a chip on the shoulder last week.
Sure.
So now they're coming off a huge win. They win by 5 touchdowns.
Yep.
So now how do you respond the next week? What did they do right last week that they're going to carry over into this week?
They played the Dolphins.
Yeah.
Also, I mean, that's 8.5 just seems like so many points because it can go literally either way. Because the Bills don't have an amazing defense; they have a decent defense. They have a defense that can get the job done. Right? The defense is one of those things where it's like it works when you need it to. Right? It's a bend don't break defense. Their defense is not winning games. Like the Steelers' defense is going to win them games this year. There's no doubt in my mind. Once everybody's healthy, the Steelers' defense is going to win them games this year. If everybody gets healthy. The Bills are just like, hey, like...
But how long can you say that? If everybody gets healthy,
I'm saying when TJ Watt's back, when Joe Hayden gets back, like those guys, centerpieces on the Devin Bush, he's out too.
That's what the...
he was out early. Yeah, he was out before the game started.
I think a fully healthy Steelers defense is going to help win games, but I don't think you can play on the ifs. You got to play
but it won them the game against Buffalo.
Yeah,
it did.
I'll agree with that.
Yeah. So I think just by saying that, I think that the Steelers defense is going to win them games when they're all back. So at 8.5, I hate everything about that game. What's the over under on it?
That's going to be, any guesses?
Probably 46.5.
45.5.
All
nice.
right. All right.
Bad.
All right.
How'd you end up 46.5?
I just thought those two teams. I just took a guess. Well, the NFL doesn't get over 50 often.
I think that's different than how they ended up at 45.5.
But there was math involved when they did it. I literally pulled it out of my ass.
I was just curious if you knew.
No, I didn't. I didn't know. No, I didn't know. I don't have it written down here. So 46 and a half?
45.5.
45 and a half?
Yep.
I think that gets over.
Yeah, obviously, if you think it's going to 46 and a half,
I think that gets over.
That's obvious.
I don't have that as one of my overs, but I think that gets. I think that's the play in that game. 100% of the time.
What games do you think go over?
Well, I still have a few more that I like the Lions one here, so I know. I think this is a get right game for Seattle. -1.5 over Minnesota.
It's still September this weekend.
It's still September this weekend, and here's a fun fact:
September Russ is coming.
September Russ is coming. Not only is September Russ coming, Minnesota Vikings Russ is coming. Did you know this? Russell Wilson's played the Minnesota Vikings 7 times in his career. He has lost exactly 0 games. He's got 13 touchdowns, 3 interceptions, put up like 1,200 yards.
What do you attribute that to, do you think?
Kirk Cousins sucks. I know the one they lost because the kicker just stoinked one. It was in the playoffs. Remember that? It was like a 30-yard field goal. And so I don't know. I mean, their defense has to be better than it was last week. You can't be up that many points as you were last week and blow it. You can't do that. But Tennessee's also got a ton of talent, so I'm not necessarily blaming them for that. And so I just think that I think that's 1.5. It's almost a pick'em game, and it might be a pick'em game by the end of it. Seattle's just way too. Russell Wilson's way too accurate. He's way better. If you're building a team right now, are you taking Kirk Cousins or Russell Wilson?
Did you look at I'm taking Russell Wilson, by the way. Did you see there's another -1.5 game?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Is that on your list to talk about? Okay.
Yeah. There's not a lot of these lines are tough this week.
They are.
These lines are there's nothing like last week. I felt good. There were some games that jumped out. These lines are a little bit tougher. I do like Seattle -1.5. The other game that Drew was talking about, the -1.5 game, is actually the 425 game. It's a premier game. The third week of the season, and we could see these guys playing well into December.
So is the Seahawks game, by the way.
Yeah, it's a 4:30 game.
Both
are
are 4:30.
Yeah, but this one's going to be the marquee game. You got the Los Angeles Rams against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Los Angeles Rams against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I'll go to your thoughts first on this.
Tampa Bay Buccaneers at the LA Rams. They're playing this game in
home.
LA.
Yep.
At the SoFi Stadium.
Yep.
Man, that place looks nuts. By
so
the way.
nice, huh?
All these new stadiums, I can see why they're building new stadiums. I was thinking about it the other day. I was thinking about like Heinz Field, like whenever I was like the first time, and they're like, man, this place is so nice and new.
Yeah.
Now you look at it, it looks like an antique.
Yeah.
It's been like, I don't know, 20 years. That place is basically the SoFi Stadium, the Allegiant Stadium in Las Vegas. Those places are absolutely huge, and they're packed with all sorts of wild things.
So many cool features.
I don't know if you could retrofit those into Heinz Field. All of a sudden, Heinz Field just got passed up, and it's like we're back to Three Rivers.
I don't even think Chip and Joanna Gaines could help that.
Hey, we need Ty Montgomery out there with the move that bus.
Yeah. Ty Pennington.
Ty Montgomery.
Oh yeah, that makes more sense.
It'll do Ty
yeah,
Pennington.
that's fair. That's fair.
We'll do Ty
No, it's fair.
Ty Pennington was who I was going for. I couldn't back down though.
That's fair.
Anyways, I don't even know. Is he to move that bus?
Yeah, he was.
For the actual game though.
Yes.
I mean, does Tom Brady lose?
Yeah.
This year?
Yeah. They're not going 17-0. Do they lose?
Do you watch the games?
Yeah. Who'd they beat this year? They beat Dallas. Dallas's biggest weakness is what? Their defense. Dallas has is no pressure. They get zero pressure on quarterbacks. Tom Brady hasn't been rushed or hit really at all this year because they played Atlanta the next week, which is basically
he got hit once this weekend and he was upset.
Well, right, yeah, because he was like, how did the Falcons get to me?
Yeah.
Like that's probably what he was thinking.
In the middle of throwing for 5 touchdowns. That's right.
Yeah, this is the first game that matters for them. This is the first game that they're going to see a real offense and defense. Not only the offense part of it, because Sam Bradford has looked like 28-year-old Sam Bradford. I mean, he really looks like this guy could be the MVP. Is he 28? How old is he? He's older than that.
Who?
Sam. Oh, Jesus. Matt Stafford. Sam Bradford. Jesus. I got to stop drinking before I do these. Matt Stafford looks like you're shaking the whole thing. Matt Stafford looks amazing. This is the first game they're actually going to be tested this year, and I think with that
Sam
defense,
Bradford, if you're listening, you still look good.
Yeah, you still look
by the
great.
way.
But not.
You look like you're 28.
But you don't.
Derek thinks you look like you're 28.
So I think I have written down here Rams money line. I don't even need the points. This is the best defense Brady's going to face this year. Can Tampa Bay win a game when they're not scoring 40 points? Can they? I don't know if they can. I don't know if they can.
Rams money line.
Rams money line's my pick.
I don't like it.
You don't like it at all?
I don't.
You're not even touching it?
I don't like Rams money line.
What do you want?
I think the Buccaneers win this one, and I don't think it's really that close.
All right.
I think we get a glimpse of the Matt Stafford. Like I don't know. I would think that he's gonna feel like this is his first game too. So whenever Matt Stafford gets into these type of situations, yeah, he can show, especially late Matt Stafford.
Sure.
A lot like Phil Rivers down late in the fourth quarter. I think he can show flashes of brilliance, but I think I don't know, in LA against Tom Brady, might be a little bit too big for him.
I don't know.
I like,
in LA though, I mean it's the home fans.
We're split.
All right, we're split decision on that one. The other game, I refuse to say anything nice about Detroit.
I'll agree with that.
Until they make me. So if you're looking at this Detroit versus Baltimore Ravens game, it's 7.5 right now. This is an easy game, 7.5. Just go with Lamar Jackson because Aaron Rodgers didn't get pressured at all last night. He got sacked maybe twice. Lamar Jackson is way more mobile than Aaron Rodgers. If you give Lamar Jackson the time that Aaron Rodgers had last night, Lamar Jackson might not pick you apart like Aaron Rodgers is, but he's going to run for 150 yards. He's going to rush for 150 yards. He's got weapons. I think they're getting a little bit step closer to healthy. I think they have some running backs that are coming back. Maybe they'll get Bell in some action this week.
I mean, what do you think is scarier, rushing Lamar Jackson, knowing that he might juke you, or going back to the sidelines and facing the Lions head coach?
Well, so that's the other thing, man. Dan Campbell last night, where Monday night game was last night, he made zero halftime adjustments. They were up 14-17 at halftime. I had Detroit over 17.5 points. I thought, go to bed. This is over. They did not score another point the rest of the game. So Dan Campbell's just a first-time head coach. There's nothing wrong with that. He's going to learn. He's going to make mistakes. He's just building his team right now. He's trying to figure out his brand.
Spoken like a true Jets fan.
Well, that's fair. But I'm telling you right now, I gotta go with the Ravens minus 7.5.
I like that.
Yeah,
I like
dude.
that. I'll go with you on that.
Yeah, until I don't know. What do you think of that Monday night game?
I was just looking at that actually. I mean, my first reaction was that 3.5. I don't think is enough
for Dallas.
I think Dallas could win that by a lot more.
Yeah,
especially with how Pollard's looking.
I mean, Dallas has looked good.
Pollard is looking. Zeke maybe finished.
You think
Pollard he's
not finished, but he has
a lot of skill.
He's not explosive.
He's not the running back I think that they were hoping for.
Sure,
this year at least, and he's still young. He's not old by any means.
It's not 28.
So the
it's not Sam Bradford.
I think that 3.5 is low. I think with Pollard being a threat. Not only catching the ball out of the backfield, but whenever they run with him, it seemed like every time they ran with him this weekend, it was 6, 7, 8 yards, big chunk plays. I think that...
and who'd they play this week?
This past week?
Yeah, they played the Chargers, who are also pretty good at football. I think that's a no-brainer.
Minus 3.5?
Minus 3.5. You go Dallas.
I would agree.
Because this is at Philadelphia. Okay, so they're basically saying if this was in Dallas. Is in Dallas?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I had it wrapped backwards there. So they're basically saying if this was a neutral site game, Dallas would only be favored by half a point. I don't see it. I mean, San Francisco's beat up. They lost 3 of their running backs. They're down 3 of their running backs. Lost some guys in the secondary last week, and they still held Jalen Hurts to 12 for 23 for 190 yards. The problem with Jalen Hurts is you don't know which Jalen Hurts you're going to get.
Right.
He can either be really good and he can make a lot of really good plays, or he can come out like this. Like the first week he came out, which again is against Atlanta, which is why I'm never taking Atlanta in a game this year, which is why I have the Giants beating them by -3. That's the only time I'll ever take the Giants this year. you got to go Dak. Dak's MVP season right now. Like he's having a really close to an MVP season. So you get Dak, you get
Part
Zeke,
of that's because of
you
Pollard,
get Cooper.
I think.
Yep, you get that.
I
Yep.
think you can almost, like, if you're actually watching Cowboys games, you can almost rule.
Well, you don't have a choice because they're always on.
You can almost rule. That's true. You can almost rule Zeke out. Like you say, Dak, Zeke, Amari Cooper,
Right.
Dak, Pollard, Amari Cooper,
Right.
and not only Amari Cooper,
CeeDee Lamb.
Not only Amari Cooper, CeeDee Lamb makes plays from the wide receiver position, the wideout position. I think that -3.5 is very. I like that.
So Dallas -3.5 against Philadelphia. Again, I just think that this is one of those games that that's we're gonna look back on that on Monday. After Monday night and just be like, how was that? How is that not even that close? Also, you can follow us at Take the Over Pod on Instagram and Twitter. We'll be putting out some player prop bets for that game since it is a Monday night and there's not that much action. Sunday's tough. Sunday's a lot of fun to play player prop bets. I missed one by one this week. I was so mad. Missed one by Christian McCaffrey. Didn't get an extra half. He needed an extra catch, one extra catch, and we would have been.
If you would have taken just the receptions plus. Or receiving yards plus rushing yards.
Well, that would have hit.
If you would have done that.
Yeah, that would have hit.
Like someone on the podcast told me.
God, such an idiot. Such an idiot. So those are our picks. We got just so you know, for this week, we have Giants -3. Carolina -7.5, and anything you can get Christian McCaffrey, either over catches or over rushing and receiving yards. We have which one did we have there? We had Seattle -1.5, Baltimore -7.5, Dallas -3.5. Split decision on the LA Rams and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Real quick before we get off this.
Are we going to count those towards our record? I don't think we should.
Which one? The split decision? No, we don't count the split decisions. Yeah, because that's not fair, because we're always going to be right there. Just real quick, you don't have to count this towards your record at all. Tennessee Titans -5 against the Indianapolis Colts. Carson Wentz has 2 sprained ankles, which I've just been told is the maximum number of sprained ankles that you can have. So where do you go in that game? I mean, like, because if it's
Giant Eagle, get an ace bandage.
I mean, that's you're gonna need some good old Ben Gay on that. Jacob Eason would be the starter, or Sam Ellington. Most likely Jacob Eason, because he was the starter. He's the backup on the roster right now. But man, if Carson Wentz has 2 sprained ankles, even if he does play, he's not gonna be explosive on that, right?
Who knows?
So T.Y. Hilton's still out. It's like where I don't see it. I think that Derrick Henry looked all the way back last week.
He did.
He looked all the way back last week. So I'm not going to take this game. If I were going to take this game, I would say Tennessee -5 is probably your ticket to making the casino a little bit smaller.
Can you imagine? I'm just thinking about this window right here. I'm thinking about like seeing Derrick Henry in person, because on the TV, he doesn't look like he goes that fast. Imagine just like a 6'2", 230-pound human being just sprinting by this window right now.
Imagine standing in front of that. 6'2", 235 pounds of just pure man. Like he's
going fast.
He's all man.
He's going fast.
He is going so fast. So that's those are our picks for the pod this week. And obviously, we wouldn't be the Take the Over podcast if we didn't give you some overs to take, because I got to tell you, I think these overs are some of them are kind of inviting. So what I'm going to do is I'll start with one because I have one ready. Carolina at Houston. The over-under is 43.5. No primetime game has gone under yet. And until a primetime game goes under, I will bet the over. Until a primetime game goes under, I'm going to bet the over. I don't know. I think it's a pretty easy one here. Carolina, it's 43 points. It's on Thursday. It's a short week. I get that, but
there's a reason it's 43 points.
Oh, I know. Yeah, because Tyrod Taylor's not playing, and but they still have. I mean, you got Brandon Cooks. You got you got the running. They have running backs. Jesus, they have who is it? David Johnson. They got guys. I mean, they got dudes. So, and they were beating the Browns last week, so they can score points. I mean,
with Tyrod Taylor, yeah.
But how late in the game did he get injured? I didn't watch it.
Middle of the third-ish.
Middle of the third. Okay, so which is where they really stopped scoring. But I mean, who's to say? I mean, maybe Anyway, until a Thursday night game or a primetime game goes under, I am fading the under. I'm going over all the way there. So 43.5 points. I think that gets there. Take that.
I like your primetime stat. I'm taking. I think this team is actually going on a very steeply ascending trajectory.
All right, who's that?
That's the Arizona Cardinals.
Have you
watched them play?
Kyler Murray's like plus 500 right now for the MVP.
That's
low.
Crazy.
That's low.
So, anyways, their total is 30.5 for their team against the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Okay, I like that.
I'm taking way over on the Arizona Cardinals at the Jaguars. I think they're going to get over 30.5 points by the time 60 minutes expires in that game.
I think they get it by the time 40 minutes expires in that game.
it's
So
good.
30.5 Arizona.
Yeah.
Okay.
Cliff Kingsbury. I mean, think of the places he's been in college, everywhere around Texas.
I mean,
he plays a game that's like we get the ball for 2 minutes and we score 6.
Yeah,
That's the game he plays.
Lincoln Riley. Think about the talent that team has. You got AJ Green, who's playing well. You have Kyler Murray, who I'm still like. I think Kyler Murray to me is a lot of people see him as a superstar. I see him as he's a really good gadget guy. You know what I mean? He's good enough to win you games. He's also good enough to lose you games. But I don't see him as like a top 10 quarterback in the league right now.
I do.
I mean, a lot of people are going to disagree with me. That's
He's
completely
plus
fine.
500 for the MVP.
I understand.
How do you not see him as a top 10 quarterback?
Well, if I were
are you
to
just
tell
doing this for the podcast?
No, if I were to tell you who my top 10 quarterbacks are right now, I would say Aaron Rodgers, Tom Brady. You have Patrick Mahomes.
So what are you basing your top 10 quarterbacks on?
Sam Bradford, guys that if I'm Sam Bradford, Matt Stafford. If I'm picking a team right now that I'm trying to build a team around some guys, these are the guys I want to build. Playoff experience. You got to also remember Cliff Kingsbury they've not won a playoff game yet. So, but they have a lot of talent. So they have DeAndre Hopkins. You have AJ Green. You have Kyler Murray, who's gonna be able to make plays, extend the play. I like over 30.5. I'm just saying I don't think Kyler Murray's that good.
You've got Rondale Moore,
Max
from
Purdue.
He was tied with Max Williams for the most receptions last week.
How many was it?
7 each.
Nice.
29 to 36 was Kyler Murray. And then for Rondale, I don't know. I just don't know if I want to bring this up. For Rondale, he was born in the year 2000. I thought I would mention that.
Is that heard?
It's not good.
It's not good. Yeah, it's always weird. You're talking to somebody like, when were you born? 2004? No, this seems wrong. Why do you have an opinion?
No, not which year you started driving. Yeah, when were you born?
Yeah, why do you have an opinion? Why are you 17? Why? It gets crazy. I talked to my nephew. He's like 10 now. It's like, why? Why are you an adult? The other over that I really like this game, I think if you're going to watch this game, well, obviously you're going to watch this game because it's your hometown boys. I think Steelers Bengals over 44.5. Ben's due for like a 3 touchdown game. You know what I mean? Ben's due for one of those games where he just lights it up. Claypool makes all the plays. He gets
500-yard game.
500-yard game
through 3 quarters. They show a stat at the bottom like no Steelers quarterback has ever thrown for more yards through 37 minutes and 26 seconds.
Exactly.
In history. Yeah.
Exactly.
I can see one of those games.
I can see this game happening, and I can see it happening against Cincinnati Bengals, who don't have a great defense. You know what I mean? They don't get to the quarterback, which is Ben's biggest problem. When he gets hit, Ben is the best. As soon as Ben gets injured on the field, like if he's down on the field, everybody in Pittsburgh holds their breath. I'm just like, he's about to throw a touchdown. Like he's about to get up, walk off for one play, comb his beard, and come back in and throw a touchdown. And to be honest with you, they have so much talent, man. Najee Harris looks like he could be the real deal. They're still fresh. Juju catching a touchdown. Actually, that's probably the prop bet I would take is this Juju's anytime scorer. Anytime, I just feel it for him this week. So 43.5 seems like a steal because on the other side of the ball you have Joe Burrow who puts up 350 yards a game even when he's not trying. You know what I mean? Even when he has nobody to throw to. He's got T. Higgins. He's got his dude from Jamar Chase. They have
Tyler Boyd.
Tyler. They have guys.
Uzoma.
They have guys. So the biggest question mark for them is the defense. And now flip over to the Steelers side again. The biggest question mark for them is the defense. Is Devin Bush going to be back? Is Joe Hayden going to be back? I think the Steelers win this game. I think it's a lot closer than people are going to give it credit for. Right now the line's at 4. I think it's close. I think it's T.
TJ Watt might not play. It's
Steelers -3.5.
-3.5. So, like, you know, if those guys are playing, what do you think the line is? If Joe Hayden's healthy, if TJ Watt's healthy, where do you see
not.
I know, but where do you see that line? Like, I just want to see what kind of impact you think they have on the game. Like, how many points is that swing for you?
I'd say a touchdown.
Yeah.
I would say that's close to a double-digit game.
Right.
Probably 9.5.
Right. So, I mean, there's some respect there for sure. I just think that 43.5 sounds like a good one there. So, do you have an extra one or no?
I was looking up some more team totals, which aren't out yet because we're recording on Tuesday.
Right, some of them are.
I was looking at the team totals of the Dolphins one isn't out yet. I was curious to see how many points that Vegas would think they're going to have after scoring 0 last week. And then
Who
also
they play?
with their situation.
Yeah.
So I don't. Yeah, that's your trap game.
Yeah, it's such a trap game.
I was looking at the Bears. Do you think the Bears can score more than 20 points? You think the Bears get 3 touchdowns?
Well, so that's interesting to me because Andy Dalton was injured. He left the game last game, and then I'm blanking on his name. Justin Fields went in. Yeah. So for me,
his mom makes good cookies.
Justin Fields,
Mrs.
Fields. I think if that's one of those games where if Justin plays the whole game, I think they have a better chance of hitting that over. I think if Andy Dalton plays that game, you're getting the same old Bears football that you got all the time. So, I don't. What's the over
for their teams? 19.5.
19.5 against
Cleveland at Cleveland.
Yeah, Cleveland's got a good defense, man. Cleveland's got a good defense. If anything, I would say, what's Cleveland's?
27.
27, and Landry Jones, Jarvis Landry is out for a few weeks. He got put on IR today. So he sprained MCL, not a torn ACL, not a torn MCL, it's just sprained. So he's going to be out for a few weeks. So that team's not going to be looking as explosive, but they can run the rock. The problem with that, and here's what I think, Drew. The problem with that 19.5, I'm not saying it's a bad line at all. If Cleveland's playing well and they're playing to their strengths, what they're going to be doing is they're going to run the ball with Nick Chubb. They're going to run the ball with Kareem Hunt. So they're going to control the clock. So they're just not going to have a lot of possessions to score those 19.5 points on. So I don't like it, but I understand.
I'm staying away from it. I was curious what your thoughts were.
Yeah, I think if
Chicago scoring 20 would strike you.
Yeah, I think if Justin Fields is in, then they have a better chance.
Okay, we'll watch it. I'm not going to put anything on that.
Yeah,
I'm done.
Okay, perfect. I do have a parlay this week because I didn't like when I first got on. So
I also have a parlay this week.
Perfect. A lot of times when I look at these lines, I feel like fall in love with one or I hate one, right? And there's really no in between. I looked down through these lines this week and I was like, I hate every single one of these lines. Like none of them stuck out as like, oh, this is an easy pick, right? Like this is your Bet The Haus pick. You know what I mean? Like, and usually one of them does, and usually I'm wrong.
One of them did for me. Well, 2 times this year you've been wrong.
Yeah, 0 for 2, but was 7-2 last weekend. So
maybe it was after. Did you get coronavirus?
I did. I have.
Wow.
Yeah, that's probably what it was. I can't smell a winner anymore.
No.
I can't. So for me, I think here's when none of the lines stuck out to me. I thought, what if I did a 6-point teaser, right? So I just teased everything down 6 points, got it to where I felt good about it, and here is my 6-point teaser parlay. Okay, you have the Bills -2.5, so you're going from 8.5 to 2.5. The Ravens -1.5, so you got them from 7.5 down to 1.5. The Chargers, get them from 6.5 up to 12.5.
Yeah.
All right. And the Panthers, get those down from 8.5, 7.5, down to 1.5. So now you have Bills 2.5, Ravens 1.5, Panthers 1.5, Chargers plus 12.5. The parlay sits at 210. I already took that. So I think that's I don't know. For me, that seemed like a safe a bet as you can make in the NFL, knowing that it's not going to hit.
Yeah, my parlay, I'm pretty excited to share.
Yeah.
Do you?
Yeah.
Have you ever gotten drunk on points?
I've gotten drunk on a lot of things.
I think I'm going to try and get drunk on points this weekend because I'm taking the over in Seattle, Tampa, and the Chargers games.
Woo!
Every one of those games is at 55.5.
Seattle, Tampa, and what was the other one?
The Seattle, Tampa, and the Chargers. I think that all of those games, those are such high.
Wow.
Those are such high totals that
that's almost a hot take.
They're going. It's close, but
I think it's doable
for those three. It's plus 588.
Right.
And that's what I think. The part of it's like, man, that's just a lot of points. At the same time, look at the teams playing. They
Yeah.
score a lot of points.
They do.
So I think that
all those teams playing together score a lot of points.
Right.
Playing each other score a lot of points.
So I think that I'm going to get drunk on points.
What's that? What's that odds? What's the odds line on that?
Plus 588.
Plus 588.
Over 55.5 in all three
Wow.
of those games.
I mean, you just take that seriously. Here's what you do to that game. You take those. It was Seattle is playing. Who? Oh, Minnesota. And Minnesota scored a ton of points last week. You just take that game. You go to your local Buffalo Wild. You go to the live casino. You sit at the FanDuel Sportsbook at that 2-story media wall, and you just order all the beers you can. And you put, what, $20 on it?
Yeah, whatever you're
20
willing
bucks
to
to
lose.
do it. Yeah, $20 on that, and you are feeling good.
I think a few. Well, you have the Chargers at 1:00, and then you've got Tampa and Seattle at 4:30. So
Okay.
hopefully that 1:00 game hits, and then you can just you can get up and stretch a little
Little
bit.
juice
maybe
there?
play a few slots. Go to the table games for a little while.
Yeah.
Grab a cold beer, and then sit back down for the 4:30 games, and then cheer on some more points. We're getting drunk on points this weekend.
Let's go, drunk on points. So just a quick question: when you take a parlay, do you also bet the parlay individual
No.
legs? You never
No,
do that. Okay,
don't
so
do
you're
that.
just like, well, which I think is smart because how often do you take a parlay and everything hits except for one?
Well, that's
you
why
would've
people
gone-
take round robins, which
Okay.
the round robins would be 3 individual bets,
Right.
3 2-teamers. I don't think I would. I don't like that either, just because in the case that 2 out of 3 hit, you win 2 of the 3 round robins,
Right.
And that I think that I don't know. I don't know. We'll see what happens. But whenever I take a parlay, I think I'm going to jinx if I do anything else with it. So
Sure.
I just take the
No,
parlay.
that's fair.
And
That's
it.
fair.
I may do I took the parlay on the overs right there, so I may bet the game individually. I may bet the spread.
That's what I was
individually.
asking.
Yeah,
Oh,
I may
okay.
bet the spread, but I won't bet.
But you won't bet-
I won't bet the over 55 and a
Got
half
it.
by itself.
Got it.
For all of that.
Honestly, if you wanted to be even safer like that, you could tease all those down 5 points. I know. You don't have to. I'm just saying. Like
I took off my
the teaser
fluorescent
point.
orange vest. I hate safety. If anything, I'm bumping that up to 60 and a half.
Drew's jumping out of a plane without a parachute.
Yep.
So here we go. We got our infamous. Last week it was infamous. It was famous for a bad reason. Last week we got our
true.
infamous Bet the House pick. Lifetime. We're still well over 500.
Let's not talk about that. Let's talk about
We're
this
still
year.
well over 500.
What's this year?
This year we're 1-3.
Is it fade the house time?
It's fade the house time.
It's not our call. I'm going to give you the best I got, though.
Listen, I'm going to give you the best I got. There was one line that stuck out at me just a little bit more than the rest of them, and I want to tell you right now that I absolutely hate everything about this. I hate what I'm about to do because I just can't do it. I absolutely hate betting on New England, but New England -3. They don't score a ton of points, right? I don't think Mac Jones is through for a touchdown yet this year. But what happens is he doesn't turn the ball over either. And Jameis Winston last week turned it over twice. He's starting to look like the Jameis of old, maybe. The issue with that is as well. I just don't have the faith in New Orleans to come out and do it. Also, if you look at Jameis's first 2 game stat lines, they weren't impressive. He threw for under 200 yards both games. He won. He threw for 5 touchdowns the first game, but he also hasn't done anything that impressive with the ball yet. So for me, he threw for 111 in week 2, by the way. So there's that. New England has some very solid corners, and it's one of the best defenses in the league. This line actually, I don't know, seems low to me. I hate to say that because it's going to bite me in the ass if I say that, but Mac Jones hasn't done much, but he's not turned the ball over. Give me the Patriots -3, and I hate to say it. I watched the game last week. I watched them play. I think if they can keep Mac Jones upright, that -3 is a safe one. Is my Bet the House. Patriots -3.
Patriots has to bet the house.
I hate myself. What's yours?
I found it earlier in the show, and I've been holding on to it.
I know. I'm excited for this.
I've already talked about it a little bit.
All right.
It's Arizona -7.5.
Wow, that's a lot of points for the Bet the House.
It's at Jacksonville.
That's also true.
I don't think Lawrence got it.
Jacksonville got dick kicked by
I think Trevor Lawrence.
Denver.
Trevor Lawrence is like the equivalent of those. And this is kind of a slight against Trevor Lawrence, I guess, but not for eternity, just for the first
Right
couple
now.
games.
Yeah,
of the
for
year.
sure. Yeah.
He's the equivalent of the people that jump on the treadmill at like 10. That's what he tried. Him coming to the NFL was like,
true.
like he's like, he straddled it during the preseason. He had his wide base. He's on the sides of the treadmill. The belt was running 10, maybe 12. He's like, I got this. No, he did not.
He did not have it. He did not have it.
I think he will. I think I have a lot of.
I think he's good.
Yeah, I think he is good. I think he will be good. I
think he's good.
I think -7.5. And the way that Kyler Murray's looked this year, I think he can gap that game up. My only fear for that game is that we get to like a 17 to 20 point lead, and then start to back it up. Yeah, that's my only fear for that game.
Well, because here's the thing: Urban Meyer wants so badly to prove that what he's cooking up down there is working. He wants so badly to be like, I belong in the NFL, right? And we're not sure if he does yet, to be honest with you.
What do you think? I know you have a thought. Hold on to that for a second. What do you think about like the coaches coming from college, where their job is to recruit and inspire these 18 to 22-year-old males that are doing this to hope for an NFL dream, to now he takes the same strategy to this locker room of 22 to 35-year-old men that are doing this for a living. How do you think that message translates?
Well, I mean, you don't have to ask me. We can ask Chip Kelly how that message translates. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, Nick Saban. You got the only person that's, I mean, and I'm wrong on this because it's not the only person, but Pete Carroll is in modern time. Like, it's like the one you think of right now, coached Mark Sanchez in college.
Do we really think Pete Carroll does anything?
He chews gum pretty hard.
That's the first thing you're saying.
He chews gum pretty hard. But he's a motivator up there. But he's got he's got his guys.
Great leader.
He's a great leader. That's what I'm saying. So like you look at a guy like Urban Meyer, who's not a great leader. He might be a great leader, but what's the biggest?
He obviously is.
What's the biggest slight on Urban Meyer though? Every time it gets tough, every time anything gets tough on him, he leaves. Right? He was in Florida, got a little tough. He left. Went to Ohio State, won a couple championships. He left. You know. So every time it kind of starts going not his way, he's already been linked, and this is like not me making this up. I watch a lot of sports shows, insiders saying he's already linked to the USC job because USC has fired their coach already, and they fired him with the intentions of potentially recruiting Urban Meyer from the NFL. And they had like this. This is how deep they went. They had a guy come on that was like a detective or whatever, and he's like, well, you can tell when someone's lying about the way you do this. And it was like on his press conference, and he did exactly that. And it's like, oh, maybe
I love the people that track flights.
Yeah,
those are my favorite people.
Oh, for sure.
There was a private flight that was chartered from Jacksonville to Los Angeles. Yeah, and nobody knows who was on it. There was apparently three.
Ladies and gentlemen,
there was three people on the plane, 3 souls on board. Yeah, and it's like, oh, geez, like
who was that?
People are doing
Who was that?
What time did you leave?
Where were you? Where were you? And so that's the thing. I don't know.
Urban's like, I just wanted some In-N-Out. You guys leave me alone.
Yeah, I do think I believe in Trevor Lawrence. The problem I have with Jacksonville is outside of that first pick with Trevor Lawrence, which was a no-brainer pick, their next pick was Travis Etienne. And you don't pick a running back in the first round when you have that many holes to fill. Their draft outside of Trevor Lawrence was absolutely dog water. Like, it was bad. It was not good, right? So you look at their draft and you're like, oh, these guys are rebuilding for the next 5 years. And Urban Meyer's like, we'll see. You know what I mean? Well, I'm building for this year, and if it doesn't work, I'll just leave. So, like, I don't know. But I don't believe in them at all. I think they do win a few games. But I think that I'm going on record right now. I think the Jets might actually be favored when they play them.
The Jaguars?
Yeah. I think the Jets might actually be favored.
I think that's true.
And I'm not biased at all.
Zach Wilson had a good game. We didn't even talk about that last week.
All right.
He had a good game. You're wearing your hat this week.
All right.
Look at you.
We're turning it around. We're turning it around.
Look great.
Zach Wilson threw 4 interceptions, and I don't want to talk about it because I don't remember most of them because I was drunk. So I still love you, Zach. We'll get it this week.
How good do you think those interceptions would have looked on a 2-story media wall?
I mean, I would have been less mad. Because I'd have been like, well, I'm here.
Yep.
I'm not watching it. You know, when I was on the golf course.
Factory of Sadness.
Factory of Sadness. Yeah, I was on the golf course. So we'll end the show with with a hot take. Again, we've got some good picks for you. If you've just joined us, this audio will be up. The full audio will be up tomorrow morning at Take the Over on any major podcasting network that you want to get it from. Or the full video feed will stay here on Facebook. It will also appear on YouTube as well, where we also put we're putting about 8 videos out a week on YouTube, so please pay attention to that. What did you say?
I was going to say, before the hot take, I think we were doing a bad job of actually how people can watch this and how people can interact with this.
Fair.
There's a lot of things that we do besides just record this hour long.
Fair.
this hour-long podcast. There's a lot of things you do, I guess, that
Fair.
that we do. So right now, like if you're listening to this on a podcast, you're missing it. You missed it.
Right.
We were on Facebook Live from the Take the Over podcast page.
Right.
Live Casino Pittsburgh was kind enough to share it. Thank you, Live Casino Pittsburgh. And then you can watch us live. You can interact with us. You can mention the comments. You could direct message me. I'll even read those out too. Why not?
Sure.
Then there's the YouTube channel. What's that? What's the
YouTube channel? If you just go on YouTube and search "Take the Over Sports," it should be the first one that comes up. Again, we're putting about 8 videos out a week there, along with the full length episode in that as well.
Do we use Instagram?
Instagram, yeah. Instagram.
If you've heard of this app, it's called Instagram. You can download it from the App Store.
Mark Zuckerberg bought it for $1 billion.
Good investment.
Good investment. Yeah, 285 days into its.
But we're on
life
Instagram
cycle.
at Take the Over
so
Pod.
Instagram is Take the Over Pod, and why that one's cool is like we don't post. We post a decent amount of videos in there, but what we do is we'll also post a lot of bet slips, like live bets that we take or player props that we take. As hockey comes up, we love player prop bets in hockey. Drew specifically loves draining his bank account for player prop bets in hockey.
We're hitting a 10-teamer this year.
We are hitting a
High water.
10-teamer.
I'm hitting a 10-team player point parlay. You could take that to the bank. I can't wait for that to hit.
I promise you
can't
this much.
wait.
If we hit a 10-team player point parlay, if we hit one this year, I don't care what day of the week it is, we're going straight to the casino. And we are drinking aggressively until they kick us out.
Yeah, who's driving us? We need to find the driver.
Yeah, we'll just sleep there.
Okay, that's fine.
We'll just sleep there. So there's a lot of ways that that'll all be in the description below. The best way to keep up with everything is YouTube and Facebook and Instagram. Those are the 3 big ones because we share our tweets there. So our hot take of the week, I have one, and I like this. I like this a lot. Packers are playing the 49ers. 49ers are injured. Aaron Rodgers looks like all of a sudden he gives a shit. I don't know where that came from, Aaron, or who hurt you, but we will find them. The San Francisco 49ers are injured. They're down to their 3rd string, 4th string running back. They're not really, feeling it at that as far as that goes. They lost some guys in their secondary. Now, last year, when all their defense went down, they were able to hold it together. You know why? Robert Saleh. Where's he at? Losing with the Jets right now. So he's not there to make those defensive adjustments. Aaron Rodgers, if you give him time in the pocket, he will pick you apart because Devontae Adams looks like a whole man. So you take you take the Packers on the money line, and then you take the Chargers on the money line. Justin Herbert gets his upset. Keelan Cole has a big game, probably catches 2 touchdowns. You get the Chargers money line, Packers money line, parlay those 2 plus 762. Again, just a reminder, hot takes are fun for us. We don't expect them to happen, but we're like, well, if we were trying to big brain Vegas, this is what we would do, right? That's how I would describe it. We don't count these against our wins and loss records because they are significant odds. But if we were trying to big brain Vegas, this is what we would do. Chargers money line, Packers money line, plus 672. Have yourself a Sunday.
Yeah, finding their biggest flaws.
That's right.
I think that's what hot takes is. We haven't found many.
Not many yet. We've hit like 2.
Yeah, but the hot takes are fun. So tell me if this classifies as a hot take or not.
All right.
If I take Ohio State money line,
okay,
at home versus Akron, and Alabama money line at home versus Southern Miss, that parlay comes out to minus 49,976.
Really?
Each team is minus 100,000 on the money line. The fact that FanDuel
why do they even have those money lines?
The fact that FanDuel offers those tells you how kind the people at FanDuel are. You can literally get free money. I could bet $10 to win 2 cents.
Right.
But that's a free 2 cents.
But those zips though.
That doesn't qualify as our hot take.
Akron's a great school.
Akron's
a great school. Akron's an amazing school. I will see you, Akron, September 28th.
I was looking at something. My hot take this week is going to be a 2-team parlay.
All right, that's what I was.
And that's whoops, I did the wrong thing there. But it's a 2-team parlay, and it's the 2 teams that I think are most alike in the NFL.
Okay.
Do you know what those 2 teams are?
The 2 teams that are most alike in the NFL.
They're most alike, just in their overall aura.
NFC or AFC?
Both, 1 in each.
Okay. So the Falcons and the Indianapolis Colts.
Money lines on both.
Falcons and Colts money line.
Plus 619.
Falcons to beat.
Falcons are going to beat the New York Giants.
Okay.
At New York.
Okay.
And then the Colts are going to beat the Titans in Tennessee.
Colts. I mean, that could happen.
Of course, it could happen.
No, but I'm saying I could see a significant reason for that to believe that could happen.
Both of them?
Not at the same, not on the same Sunday.
I don't think both of them are going to win.
Yeah, if they do, you guys better collect your money before Jesus comes back because that's a sign. That's a sign of the apocalypse.
Get that in your bank account before the fires begin.
So, again, player prop parlay will come out on Saturday or Sunday morning, right before the games. We'll do it like an hour before the game.
How are they going to find that?
Instagram. Take the Over Pod on Instagram. You'll see our logo. Also, please, just know that we will be recording these either Tuesday or Wednesday every week, and from this point forward, we will probably be doing them live, just because it's easier for everybody to see them. So that way you can see it live. You're getting the live lines. Literally, if you were to bet these lines, you could get these same exact lines. You don't have to wait for 10 hours for it to be uploaded. So we're going to be doing it live as well. Again, it still will stay on Instagram or on YouTube and stuff like that. So that is where we are at. Good luck this weekend. Hey, we took down FanDuel last week. We took down the casino last week. If you listen to our podcast, you made some money.
They may have gotten our house, but we got a winning record.
That's right. So please do yourself a favor and ride with us on some of these lines. Also, in the show notes, which you can find on the podcast, or you can find on our website at taketheoverpod.com, we'll have all of our picks on there. So if you're not sure, if you don't want to re-listen to the entire episode, I understand.
College Foot Blog.
College Foot Blog also coming out on, that'll come out Friday. And there's some really good games this weekend on college football, so I'm actually kind of stoked. I'm actually home for a Friday or Saturday for a change, so I am going to be watching that a lot. So that's it, guys. That's the show. We appreciate you guys hanging out with us. Thank you once again, Live Casino, for not only hosting this podcast, but also sharing this podcast. Let's go make some money. If you guys have any good picks, please message us on Instagram or on Facebook. Let us know where your money's going, because we would love to win some money with you.
Thanks, Derek.
Thank you, Drew. Let's go. Good luck this weekend, everybody. We appreciate you being here, and we can't wait to see you guys again here soon. Now I just got to find the button that ends the show.
Hey, everybody. Thanks for joining us on the Take the Over podcast. Wherever you found us, thanks for finding us. But if you do have a gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Wow.
Grambler? Are we still recording?
Yes. We're still
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
That's better. See you guys. Have a good week. Good luck, everybody.